Hello, and welcome to SideKick Power Hour. My name is Nakia, and I'm still figuring out where to look on this iPad. I think yeah, there we go. Um, I am with you here from the Phoenix International Airport, coming home from vacation out in Palm Springs, where Robert, my husband, and I went out and celebrated Western Exposure at CCBC with our friend Les and all of the amazing people out there that we hang out with a couple times a year. Had a really good time. And shout out to Weston. Thank you. Welcome. And we wanted to take a moment before we started and let's get Josh in here. Hello.
Hello.
Josh, I wanted to say to our folks at home, yes, I'm at the airport, so it is a little bit loud, so I'm going to try to mute myself when I'm not talking. But while we love having fun, and this is certainly one of the highlights of my week when we do this, tonight it's a little bit more low key because our friend Doug Langway passed away. And I was in Palm Springs when I got the news. I did not realize that people in New York had not heard the news yet, and I assume it sounds like you found out through me. So I know that for me, I'm at Doug about, gosh, it's been, that was 2009, 2010. Whenever Bear City was doing its premiere in Austin, Texas, I played the premiere party and actually helped plan it. And of course was friends with Doug on the sets. And I was almost in Bear City too, but my manager at the time fucked it up. But Josh, you knew Doug and were friends with him. Did you had a really nice post about the way you said it. I thought was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, Doug was somebody who did a lot of what I think a lot of us try to do with psychic productions. I mean, Doug did it before a lot of us. Doug made a legacy of laughter and love for himself and for all of us to share. And I mean, just seeing the people on Instagram and Facebook post about him, he touched so many lives and he touched so many people.
Totally.
On so many different levels, and it's a beautiful life to remember, but it's tragic, it's sad, it's terrible that this happened. um but I think it's also it's you see how much people loved him, and that's just really, it's a beautiful thing to see that that
Absolutely.
he touched so many people in the community.
Yeah. Well, we will definitely be missing Doug, and he certainly has, as you said, left a great legacy, and not just in the work that he created, but in the work that he inspired and helped to foster. So, um,
And he was so
rest in
close to
peace,
so many
Doug.
people in the community, in psychic productions. I mean, so many of the Crewniverse were friends with him, knew him years ago, have known him recently. They've known him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's touched so many of our lives, inspired so many people, and made so many people happy, and also he made so many people feel seen, and that's hard to do in this world. And he gave people something to look at and see themselves in.
absolutely. Well, rest in peace, Doug. We miss you already. Gosh, so crazy to even say that out loud. But um, we were going to move on to the next part of our show this evening. We're super, super stoked. We have not one, but two special guests here this evening. And I believe we're going to get our first guest in. Josh, are we going to have them come in first, or are we going to do
We're gonna
the
we're gonna welcome Stan the Mechanic himself right now. Hi,
yeah,
Stan.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going
good,
spooky. It's Halloween season, which is your
It
time.
is spooky season officially.
Hi,
yes.
David.
Hi, David. Yeah, we we were surrounded by skeletons and witches. And for folks at home, if you've ever heard of Bear Pod, they're an artist and they did an art installation. And so there were a lot of Frankenweenies and witch dicks and dicks that had fangs on them. And it
Oh,
was great.
that sounds very authentic.
Yeah, it was great.
I saw you were picking pumpkins the other day, Stan.
Oh yes. My whole year kind of centers around heading out to the country and doing some apple picking and pumpkin picking, and it's just
Aww.
my favorite time of the year. I drag my husband out there with me, but he's come to love it. He actually proposed to me in a pumpkin patch, so it's kind of a special thing that we do.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so he knows I'm a big Halloween dork, so like I'm in my element at this time
You're
of
a
the
Halloween dork.
year. Yeah.
Hi, John.
Well, hi, John. Well, we know that you are a big Halloween dork, and we're ready for it. And we have invited you in to start bringing on a little segment of movie recommendations. And what better time to kick them off than the spooky season itself? And so this is the first of what will hopefully be many little mini Stan Mechanic recommends. So let's take a look here at our
Right
first
now,
installment.
Hello, you gorgeous creatures of the night. It's your man Stan, the satanic mechanic that's causing a panic, and it's officially spooky season. That's right. Harvest season is upon us, and I've been super busy gathering apples and pumpkins, boyfriends, immortal souls for the Dark Lord. Full shit. But I also have my eye firmly planted on Halloween, which brings us to the business of the day. Halloween horror movie recommendations. I gotta tell you, it's an embarrassment of riches this year. So let's jump right in. First up, we have Halloween Ends. Oh yes, honey, it's the long-awaited final battle between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, set to pop off in theaters and on Peacock on October 14th. I've stayed away from spoilers as best as I can because anybody who knows Stan knows that this is his all-time favorite franchise, and I can hardly contain myself. Next up, we have Terrifier 2, the long-awaited sequel to 2016's Terrifier from Damien Leone. We follow the exploits of Art the Clown as he stalks and kills his victims on Halloween night. I don't know if you've seen the original, but it is a gory exploitation masterpiece. And I mean that as a compliment. I cannot wait for October 6th when this movie debuts in theaters and on Screambox streaming service. Now I think it's time for some queer horror recommendations, am I right? First up, I have Hellraiser, coming to Hulu on October 7th. Starring trans actress Jamie Clayton as Pinhead, this movie is more of a continuation of the series as opposed to a remake or a reboot. So I guess maybe it's a requel? Fans of the franchise know that the series kind of went off the rails after part 4, and the stories became kind of episodic instead of linear, so there's a lot of room for them to play in this universe. The involvement of Clive Barker, the original author of The Hellbound Heart, is also a very promising sign. Hopes are high for this one. Now, I know we've spent a lot of time with mainstream Hollywood releases, but of course there's a lot of independent stuff coming out as well, and Shudder's a great place to check all that out. Firstly, there's Queer for Fear, the history of queer horror, a 4-part documentary series that will trace the roots of horror back to its queer creators. And then there's the expansion of the Boulet Brothers Dragula series with a new competition called Titans, which is
Buffering. 1 second.
Oh, internet. That's funny. Okay, well, let's see if at least it's buffering in a cute spot.
Yeah.
Let's try that. Oh, the beauty of live shows.
And then there's the expansion of the Boulet Brothers Dragula series with a new competition called Titans, which is scheduled to debut on October 25th. Other queer horror films showing on Shudder that I think you should check out are Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker from 1982, starring Susan Terrell. It's a nice little video nasty from the early 80s that features a surprisingly poignant gay storyline. Definitely worth a watch. Shudder is also currently showing What Keeps You Alive. Now, this I don't want to give too much away about because it is a thriller in every sense of the word. Highly recommended. Of course, it's not Halloween without Hellbent. This one is still streaming on Here TV, hosted by Moi. Hellbent is a fun little slasher film from the early 2000s that follow 4 friends that go to the West Hollywood Halloween parade and get stalked and picked off one by the mysterious Devil Daddy. Pussy Cake is currently streaming on Screambox, and though it contains no pussy or cake, it does have 2 lesbian leads and a lot of Lovecraftian effects. Check it out. Last but not least, I have Hypochondriac, directed by Addison Hyman and starring Zach Vila. Hypochondriac is a psychological horror film that follows a gay man as he descends into madness as he's haunted by his past, his mother, and unresolved trauma. Of course, there are many more films that I didn't cover in this video, and for that I suggest you check out my article for Gaming Magazine that gives you a quick top 5 queer horror movie starter guide. I'll put the link in my socials. So what are you waiting for, my little devils? You got plenty of movies to watch. Get to it. Have a great spooky season. Happy Halloween. And until next time, I'm Stan the Mechanic, the demon you can believe in.
That's awesome. Josh just saw Terrifier 2.
I did. I just saw it on Friday night.
What'd you think? I just saw it on Friday too.
Oh, it is very, 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 very bloody. In all the best ways. I think I think it suffers from clearly wanting to be the second of a trilogy. So it gets a little confusing at the end. But it is a fun ride, and honestly, I think Art the Clown is one of the he stands up there with some of the greats. I think Art the Clown is a great horror villain. He's all the.
Is that the one that? Is that the one where you have the photo that I don't like?
Yeah, the black and the white clown. Yeah. He's all the comedy of Freddy and all the silence of Jason mixed together.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's great. I agree with you in terms of the sequel. Like, I loved it. When it's good, it's great. But I think I was excited by the 2.5 hour time tag. But then as I was sitting through it, I was like, yeah, they could easily have taken a half hour out of it. Like,
yes.
You know. But they did firmly establish their universe, and for that I give it kudos. It's definitely worth a watch. I think they outdo the hacksaw scene with one of the kills in particular.
I know what you're talking about. That's a pretty awesome kill. Yes,
I was pretty stunned, and Hellraiser 2 really, that one completely. It surpassed my expectations.
Wow. I haven't seen it yet, but I can't wait to watch it.
Jamie Clayton, because I love Doug Bradley as Pinhead, but like she really stepped in and made it her own. Perfectly empty, perfectly vicious. Hellraiser, 5 out of 5 stars for me. Like out of that whole list, I mean, go for it.
The makeup is beautiful. I love her look in it. So
yeah, so good. Oh my god, like all the stuff on that list. I mean, I can't wait for Halloween ends. That's all I'm waiting.
Oh, I know. Next weekend, I'm very excited for that. And then I saw Barbarians, which I thought you didn't talk about.
I saw that too. I liked it, but I'm not, because that falls into more like creature feature for me, which is not my personal favorite, but it's also definitely worth a watch. Barbarian.
I agree with you though. Yeah, I admit I was a little disappointed by it just because everyone was like, you have to see this without knowing anything about it. It's gonna blow your mind. And I'm like, is it?
Yeah, yeah. You know what was kind of good and kind of lives up to the hype? Smile was really, really
I
strong.
I really want to see that. I haven't seen that yet.
It was strong. I really
Josh
liked it.
Josh
Yeah.
opted to see Bros instead of Smile.
Oh, Bros is important to watch too, I think.
I went to see Bros as well, and I loved
It
it.
was
I
so
absolutely
good, so
loved
good.
Bros for sure. But yeah, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So whatever.
I noticed one of the movies you didn't talk about for queer horror that's from a little bit earlier in the year was They/Them, and I think you have a lot of thoughts on that movie.
I do. I wrote a review up for Queer 40, and I think they put it onto gaming, and it fell short in the final act. A lot of people were really upset that that the main protagonist chose inaction as opposed to violence, and
Yeah,
I get what the story makers were going for with that, but a lot of people took it at as silence is complicity. So I think
yeah.
that's where that movie suffered, and also it was not a slasher movie. It was a slasher, not like it was so PG. Like I'm looking for guts, viscera, like Terrifier 2 stuff. Like that's what I'm looking for, and
I can't
or
imagine They/Them doing Terrifier 2 style guts. So that would
yes, or even Death Drop Gorgeous, which
yes,
that's another great one. So it's one of my personal favorites and
that's a
queer
great
horror
one. I
masterpiece.
love that one. We're actually going to be talking about that in a week or two, I think. So that's going to be some exciting stuff there. I, I,
Definitely tune in.
I think with They/Them, what I was most disappointed by was how awesome that name is,
Yeah,
and how the movie let me down because it needs to live up to the name. Because that's a great name for a horror movie.
it really was. I was with it. Like they had some great ideas, but it just fell short, unfortunately. So
And I thought Kevin Bacon was a good villain.
yeah, he definitely lives up to his horror pedigree. I love that his daughter is the star of Smile. I love that it's like running
Oh,
in
I
the
didn't
family.
know that. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
she's the lead, and I got to give it to her that quite a difficult and layered performance. So
Well,
Smile
good.
really lives up to the hype.
I also saw Don't Worry, Darling, which is not quite horror, but it's on that cusp of horror, and it's got some nice moments to it. So
I haven't seen that one yet. I have to add it to my list.
And it takes place in Palm Springs, right?
uh
A fictional
no,
version.
well, is Palm Springs a desert?
Yeah.
Oh, then yes, I guess it is. Okay. I guess it could be like a
Yeah.
fictional Palm Springs then.
It is. Yeah.
But
Well,
it's been some great recommendations on that list, and I mean Terrifier 2. You got something for everybody there. Hellbent. So it's really some classics in there, some current stuff. People really should check out these movies that you're recommending.
Thank you.
well,
Yeah, absolutely. And the Queer for Fear docu-series is really great too on Shudder. Like, and that gives you kind of a quick history of basically horror is queer. The roots of horror go all the way back to Mary Shelley, and she was a queer woman. So, and it all stems from there. So,
I love it.
And speaking of queer icons in the horror community, I think you also had a big article come out, didn't you? An interview that you did.
I did. I haven't been promoting it as Stan the Mechanic because I didn't want to take advantage of my situation. But my day job is a writer for Queer 40 and Vacationer magazines, and I nailed an interview with Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and she gave me a wonderful, very candid, very friendly, and open interview from which I wrote 4 articles for Queer 40, Vacationer, Gaming Mag, and Bear World Magazine. And she was amazing. And she just appeared at Comic-Con in New York City. So I was there on Thursday and I got to go say hi to her.
Great.
And
Oh, good.
yeah, she was really lovely. She said how much she loved doing the interview with me and how, like, to keep her in mind going forward if she's got new projects coming out. And I was like, anything Elvira wants, she gets. I mean, I've loved her since I'm a little kid, but so charming, so funny. What an interesting life. Her book, Yours Cruelly, really is amazing. I mean, we were promoting it in the interviews, but it really is a good book. And what I found great is she gave me like a little tidbit in terms of she loves the bears so much that she's gone to Bear Week in P-Town because she enjoys the company of bears. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to tell her what a bear was. I didn't have she knew, and she was most excited to like be featured in Bear World. and gaming magazine. So she's a hip chick. What can I tell you? You know?
Do you think she'd like to do a cameo and a reshoot for A Taste of You?
You know? I should have asked.
Missed opportunity.
Well,
But
you'll have another
joining us
opportunity.
tonight, though.
She was amazing. It was I was so humbled and honored, just because sometimes when you meet people you admire, it's a bad idea, but she's always been nothing but gracious and wonderful and friendly. So you're very down to earth, very cool.
Oh,
so
I love that.
Yeah, please check out the interviews. Like, you know, she's wonderful.
Well, we'll definitely check out those interviews, and will you promise to come back and give us some more recommendations sometime soon?
Oh, I got some stuff cooking up for Thanksgiving.
Okay, great.
Is always a treat. So
yay!
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you in November, Stan. What is this? Cassandra as Carla and a flashback.
That would be a great Kelvin. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to move on to our next guest as we say goodbye to Stan.
Have a great night, Stan.
Bye, guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Thank you. So, in which order are we doing this? Do we want to show the video first, or we'll bring him on?
We're going to bring the video on first, I think.
Okay, great.
But everyone, our next guest made a video to introduce himself and talk about what the experience was that he's here to talk to us about. Many of you know Matthew Teeter is the brilliant designer behind many of our logos here at SideKick Productions, and he helped us in a rebrand, which he's going to talk about now in this video. If I pick the right one. I did.
Hi.
Oh, sorry.
I was the designer that worked with SideKick Productions to help them go through an identity rebrand. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk you through the process that we took to get to where we ended up. So first, what we did was we looked at what SideKick Productions is and how they're currently viewed. So if we look at SideKick Productions, we know their main flagship show is the Skeleton Crew, and we know how they represent themselves. We know what's important to that brand. We also have their presence on YouTube, because that also is much of how people relate to SideKick Productions, and that's usually the relationship they have with them. And then one of their other main shows is Demon Doctor, and that has another aesthetic again. So the brand itself is going to need to be able to accommodate these, as well as all of the other productions that they will have over the coming years. This was the current SideKick Productions logo. This was done when the company first got started, and since then the company has grown and pursued different avenues, and now they wanted something that was going to be a little more reflective of who they are now. So to get started with the rebrand, what we needed to do was have a look around. What other independent studios do for their brand identity? How do they represent themselves? What are the common factors that we see a lot of? Part of this is also thinking about how it gets used. A common thing that you see is these logos aren't the main logo on any of the pieces. They're actually down in the bottom corners, often living in one color, either black on a light background or white on a dark background. It really needs to be clear and quickly identifiable, but really take second stage to the main poster for whatever movie or production that it's going with. The other place you see a lot of this is on a step and repeat wall, or on a lot of the on-set materials where they have to kind of like brand it so that you know what production you're on, etc. So again, you kind of want to make sure that you've got something that will reproduce well and won't have a lot of stipulations when it gets reproduced. So a lot of colors, a lot of detail, things like that do make it harder to print. After looking what was out there for the other studios and what they were going to be standing up with, we then wanted to have a look at the word itself. It's a term that is specific to something that already exists, so we really wanted to break down what people think of that already. So, what is a sidekick? When people first think about sidekicks, Often what is thought of is the superhero sidekick, the person that's there to help the main hero in the story. The main hero wouldn't be there without their assistant and wouldn't be able to get a lot of the things done, but they're never in the spotlight themselves. The other thing that usually comes up when you think of sidekick is that buddy, that best friend, the one that's maybe not in the spotlight, but usually off to the side. That these days usually is represented with the fat best friend trope. You can kind of see here many examples of that. They're a foil character that's kind of there to help the protagonist, but they themselves aren't there to take the spotlight. This was an interesting take because, again, looking at the body positive nature of the brand, this is something that would play well into what they're trying to do with their rebrand. So, after taking all of that in, where did we land? This is the new SideKick Productions icon. It came out of a combination of thinking of both connotations of sidekick. We have the superhero's sidekick, usually depicted with a mask, but at the same time, this is very definitely a person of size. The logo itself comes together with the word mark, and we wanted to pick letters that would kind of denote that same sort of feeling. So we wanted big, thick, round-shaped, comforting letters that really kind of talk to that body positivity. It seemed to go well with the icon, and it seemed to really bring the brand together as a whole. This sort of word mark is also something that would read it well at a small size. It has a lot of impact and would serve well at the bottom of posters. Again, that was one of the goals. We needed something that could be very small in the bottom corners of things, but still pop and still be instantly recognizable. So how did we get there? There's always a bit of a process to get to these things. They don't just kind of pop out a finished product. Where I started is I usually just start doodling. First things that come to mind, just exploring shapes, playing with the letters, and things like that, and then I'll see what kind of emerges and what kind of excites me. These are some of my preliminary doodles where I was exploring ideas. My next step is usually to go in and start to work with typefaces, or what a lot of people call fonts. Usually if I find that I can find a nice typeface that I can tweak a bit to make their own for the word mark or part of the logo, then I know that they'll have a nice accompanying typeface that they can use in all their materials that will make the brand feel like it's a whole. Once I kind of went through and picked out some of the typefaces that spoke to me and seemed to resonate best with the ideas that we're trying to get across, I go in and I start to play with the word marks. How can I tweak the letters? How can I make them slightly distinct? Take them to a unique level where it is only associated with the brand that we're developing. So one of the explorations that I did was just playing with the idea of their main letters. The idea here was trying to think of like a superhero emblem, something you would see on a chest. So again, trying to take that S and then kind of intersect it with the K to give it wings, something that could, very easily, shine on the sky to symbol a superhero to come out of the dark. The next round was kind of exploring that mask being the iconic piece of that superhero sidekick. So trying to find how can we take the mask, get it so that it's recognizable, but simplify it. So again, there was much exploration here. We can kind of see the startings of where we ended up in the top right, where I started to explore the idea of making them look a little bit more body positive. This was some further exploration where I was trying to really pick up, again, on that icon, but also kind of play up the action sort of comic book feel that you would have like on the front of a comic. Usually the energy of the letters with the italics or the impact of a very thick typeface. Again, some more explorations of that, trying to think of like, again, on that front of the comic book where you've got the skewed letters that look like they're done in perspective. So, after going through and doing some more explorations, we get to the first round of logos that I presented to them. It was much a case of where I wanted to kind of hone in to make sure that we're in the similar ballpark before really refining any one design. So I kind of gave them a smattering of some of the stuff that I thought best suited where we were headed. From there, I took their notes and their feedback and tried to incorporate some of the requests that they had, and we got into a round 2 of design. Part of the feedback was to how can we make it feel even more superhero-esque. Like, what are the things we think of? A cape? Can we think of other things to do that? How can we display that? So we went into this phase. Now, again, we did select the body positive icon at this point, and it was just kind of an exploration of where can we take it and what can we do with it. Some different ideas on how we can portray it using positive and negative space. Again, simplifying the cape into more of a stylized swoosh, seeing how it would fit with some of the more dynamic text. And now again, moving away from that and going with the simplicity of just the head and the typeface. And then we end up with the last one presented, which is pretty much the final brand that we ended up with. Again, with all of the ones that we were looking at, this is where we landed because we felt looking at the needs of a brand for a independent production house, this logo, like I said at the very beginning, really needs to be able to live in the bottom corners of things, be quickly identifiable at a small size, but not take over the whole branding of a piece. Some of the exploration with capes, although fun, and you could definitely see on a t-shirt or places like that, we felt started to feel like it would get lost at smaller sizes. It would become too intricate and be too hard to quickly be able to read the wording. So again, we landed here because we just felt that this was a good spot for what we needed, while being at the same time representing exactly the notions that the brand wanted to speak to. From there, we went and cleaned out the logo, kind of tweaking the few spacing issues that we really wanted to perfect. And then we went in and decided, how does this live and look? So this is actually how we build an identity, is starting to think about how it's going to be used and setting up ground rules there so that it'll consistently be used and shown across the way so everybody can kind of recognize it at first glance. So we kind of decided how it could work on a dark background or on the purple background. Purple we felt was a good choice for the brand because, again, it can be dark and mysterious. It can also be regal. And it kind of represented the feel of the brand in terms of a lot of the fantasy and some of the darker nature of some of their productions. We look at secondary uses, how it can be used on a white background or how it can be used in a one color, whether that's black or white on a background. We identified what their specific colors were and how we can make sure that they'll get reproduced consistently. And we identified the typefaces that would get used across their marketing materials to make sure that, again, we have a consistent look and feel across everything. So people look at it and they instantly know this is SideKick Productions. So that is how we landed at the SideKick Production brand new logo and identity. I hope you've enjoyed this glimpse into how we arrived at the brand new SideKick Productions logo and identity. And I really hope that you actually enjoy the new design and think it represents the company as well as I do.
Well, I think it represents very well, and the video is fantastic.
I think a lot of people really like it too. I mean, the comments were all people talking about how much they loved it. The cape design was really hard to not to give up at first. I really love the cape design too.
Yeah,
But let's
great.
stop talking about how much we love it and talk about how much we love the person who made it too. Let's bring in Mr. Matthew Teeter. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Matt.
Hey.
Was an amazing summary of our process. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice sometimes to kind of see the process that goes into a design. A lot of times we kind of look at it, we think they just get popped out that way. So it's nice to kind of go in and be able to break it down like that.
You are such an incredibly thorough and detailed person, and you make such complicated things like branding and marketing much more approachable for people. So it's a really great skill that you have.
Well, thank you. Don't always think of it that way. You just do what you do, and you hope for the best, right?
For those of you
You
who
do a
don't know,
great job.
Matthew also designed the Demon Doctor logo. I think he said that in the video, but reminding everyone, he's the reason we have our amazing Demon Doctor logo. He rebranded Skeleton Crew a little bit. He tweaked some things there, and he also has this amazing new logo for SideKick Power Hour that we're using. Matthew is really, really brilliant when it comes to logos and other art as
And
well. But
and the new Cruniverse logo.
and the bulk of the T-shirts that we have are also because of Mr. Matthew Peters. So.
I can't pull up the T-shirts because I'm not driving today. But if you want a T-shirt, you can go to thecruniverse.com. I believe is it thecruniverse.com or Sidekick Productions.
SideKickProductions.org.
SidekickProductions.org. Yeah. If you wanna join the Cruniverse, you go to thecruniverse.com.
Yes, yes. Either way, you'll see Matthew's work everywhere because we are really, really excited. Matthew, what have you done artistically? You work with art full time, yes?
Yeah. So yeah, my career's kind of spanned. Started out doing multimedia design, a lot of websites, graphic design for agencies. Floated around through a bunch of agencies. Then went off to a game studio. Did game art for a few years there, and then now I've been kind of scooped up again by a big organization to work in their internal marketing department. So kind of taken a little bit of a path, done a little bit of everything, but it's been a journey and it's been a lot of fun. Just anything you can do where you can like spread your creative wings, like 9 to 5, and get paid for it is okay by me.
And you're also a musician, aren't you?
Yep, humble musician, very very humble musician.
That's just like Nakia. Nakia is a very humble musician, so.
Um, I did not know that you were a musician.
Yeah, I've played in a couple bands over the years.
Oh,
I think
well,
you play guitar, right?
Bass guitar is mainly what I play. Yeah, noodle on everything else.
Yeah. The Chocolate Hedron's going to buy some more shirts. We do have a lot of new shirts and products, not just shirts. We've got phone cases. We've got shopping bags,
Mugs,
mugs. Every show has a mug now. Yeah,
including
and
Psychic Power Hour.
correct.
Because that logo looks really good on a mug. So.
Yeah. Yeah, everything has a design. I mean, all the designs have a shirt or something now. And if there's something that you don't see that you're like, man, I'd really love to have our logo on this, then please let us know, and we can probably make that happen. The new service we're using to print the merch, we just tell them print on demand, so we don't have to. It's the same thing as TeePublic, but it's actually a little cheaper, so that's good. Matthew, now we one of the things that you've kind of stumbled into inadvertently is becoming our go-to guy when we have questions about marketing and graphic design and stuff. In fact, even the banner that we hung at Western Exposure this weekend, everything was fine. And then I showed it to Matt, and he was like, if you added this and you moved it there, and it looks so much better than it did when I sent it over. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's always nice to have that second set of eyes, right? And again,
It really is.
I've gotten that same critique from enough people that you start to, you take those little things, you pocket them away, and you're like, yep, these are good things to keep in mind. So it's always nice to be able to pass those on to other people.
But Matthew, for a few years now, has been my go-to guy to ask questions about what he thinks, what his suggestions are for branding and marketing and all. And we took some of that earlier this year with Nakia and Catalan, some members of the universe, and we decided to make a marketing video for ourselves, which we are actually going to premiere right now. So, Matthew, if you're ready to watch this with us,
yes,
I'm going to mute Nakia and myself because that is what happens with this video. And Matthew, people want to know your Instagram. So if you want to share that, You can put it in the chat, or you can change your name to it if you want to, or you can keep it to yourself if you're being mysterious.
They want to thirst follow you. So.
Oh, okay. I think we can accommodate that.
Or
Yeah,
art
so-
follow. You never know.
Or both.
Here we go.
Okay, money shots, go boys, 2 minutes, places.
I can't believe I let Hunter talk me into this, especially along somebody like you. Dad, what are you doing?
You know, I dreamed a lot of things when I was in that coma for 6 months. One of those things was you, Anthony.
Cut! I think we got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Joshua R. Pangborn, and we are SideKick Productions. We are an independent production company dedicated to telling queer, fat-positive stories. Oh, thank you, Yolanda.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Oh, could you get ready for the next scene?
Yeah, but can somebody tell me where that dildo water pistol is?
Oh, I saw it. I'll show you.
We're a group of mostly queer artists who are dedicated to telling the stories that we aren't seeing anyone else tell, with actors and artists who are often kept out of the spotlight.
Derek, I know I said it would be a dream come true to meet a real-life witch, but no, I'm not so sure.
Oh, gee, what was it? The impending torture that changed your mind?
Soon, the demonologist and the detective will be no more, and my house will be complete.
How much longer do I need to hold still?
Just one more take.
Demon Doctor, scene 76, take 93.
We each come with a diverse set of skills. And when we don't know how to do something, we teach ourselves.
Like how Paul became an award-winning makeup artist. Oh, hey, Josh.
Oh, or how Nakia became an award-winning composer and sound designer.
I've got this great idea for a new show. It's called Cricket Cabaret. It's a musical show.
Oh, I love it. I'm gonna write you some lyrics.
Okay, great.
Oh, hey, Mark.
Do it?
Could you change into your diaper?
Yeah, can I? I mean, if you want me to.
We wear a lot of hats.
I'm sure you can take another one.
Oh, he can take it.
But that's just all part of being an independent filmmaker.
Exactly.
Whoops, I dropped this. As we've grown, we pushed ourselves in front of and behind the camera, even producing our first feature-length musical, which I co-wrote with Nakia. Oh, hey, here are those lyrics you asked for Cricket Cabaret.
Everyone else sees so many different hues, a rainbow of colors from which they can choose. But in my world, the colors are gray. Am I just broken or differently made?
Loved it. But I have some notes. It's front and back.
Look, Simon, I'm telling you, something's not sitting right with me in this case.
Well, Edward, that's because you slept with the main suspect. And he manipulated you into getting him off. Figuratively with the law, and literally with the climax. And now you're having second thoughts because you found the murder weapon in his sock drawer.
No, that's not it.
Car is full.
Was somebody looking for this earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Whoops. We started with our queer soap opera, and have since branched into other genres, including horror and mockumentary. Oh, Emmy, are you sure this just isn't too risque?
Oh, Felix, have you seen the teen moms we've had to compete with in our time slot? Squirt me, Nana. Squirt me.
Anything for my granddaughter!
Oh, so wet.
Wiggling, y'all.
Is it weird that this is turning me on?
Join the club, Oscar. Right?
Sorry. The batteries are dead.
The batteries are dead. Are you serious? The battery?
Oh, we're still recording.
We love working together, and we make mistakes like anyone does. That's what we do, and it's okay.
We are SideKick Productions. We are queer. We are fat. We are allies. We are people who have stories to tell, who want to share them with you. And we have so much more to bring to the world. So come with us and become a part of the Crooniverse we are creating.
Yay!
And that brilliant video was put together by Catalin Stellian and filmed and edited by him. And
he did most of the sound too.
He did most of the sound.
I didn't have to do that much. He
That
baked it all in.
Absolutely right. You just entered a SideKick Productions acid trip, bless you.
When I came up with the idea that we wanted to do this thing, everybody thought that I was kind of crazy, but they're like, well, what is it for? What are we doing? Why? I just thought it would be fun for us to have something that kind of shows off a little bit of who we are, and it's in all of the different things that we do, you know, or as many of the things that we could shove into that thing.
Matthew, how does that work for you as a promo video for what we do? You can be honest, just because it's live in front of all these people.
Wow, put him on the spot. You're muted, Matt.
You're muted, though.
I think it did exactly what Nakia set out for, right? Like, it gave you a really good impression of everything that you guys do. Like, I mean, there was a little bit of each show, and I think, like, even as like a promo reel, so like people are like, yeah, I don't know anything about SideKick Productions. I think you watch that, and you know exactly what you do, which I think that's mission accomplished, really.
Yay! That
was
the goal.
We made this before we started the second season of SideKick Power Hour, and we've since dabbled our toe into something else new that we're going to premiere tonight, which has another logo that was created by Matt Feeder.
Yes, and this is another one of those instances where we had a logo and we showed it to Matthew. Well, somebody showed it to Matthew, and Matthew said, "Let's take some. I have some notes."
I have some notes. Well, it worked out really good. The logo is really, really cool. But although Ashley and Stuart are not with us tonight, Stuart is with us in digital form, as he has created a new, for lack of a better way of saying it, this is like a little reality TV show, basically.
SideKick Productions has moved in the world of reality television, yes, thanks to a wonderful little series from Stuart, Kiczek, Paul Anzulis, and Andrew Carter called Stu Snacks.
Let's take a look.
We showed you the trailer last week, and here is the episode. And Matthew's going to join us and watch it with us. But I'm going to mute myself because of...
Welcome back to Stu Snacks, the show where my friends serve me food, and I have to guess what it is. Today we have...
All right, here we go. Another attempt to try to stump Stu.
Ready, Stu?
Your time starts now.
Okay. Okay. All right.
There's a plate in front of you.
I always start with the smell.
Not close enough. All right. Let's do it a different way. Oh.
Oh, you found something.
Oh.
It's slimy.
Would you like a utensil?
Yes. You know what? I think this is a, let's go with a spoon.
I love the multi-camera shit.
You didn't get anything on there.
Knowing is half the battle.
So if you ask for a utensil, is that kind of like asking for call a friend?
It's him trying to figure out the right way to eat the food.
That is food.
Are you sure?
Yep.
What the fuck was that?
he doesn't like it.
No, what was that?
There's a chewy,
Okay.
tough, like
Tough.
chewy, rubbery.
Okay.
But it's a shape that I literally, my brain can't even comprehend right now.
Interesting.
I love octopus.
Interesting. Okay.
That is a meat or a protein.
Okay.
Something with a savory, sweet, creamy-ish vibe to it. But
sounds interesting.
Whatever this is, I don't know.
We wouldn't give you anything that's not edible.
Okay, I think it's all one thing.
Okay.
No, there's something else in here. That's celery?
I have a question. Is it good?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, there's a creaminess to it. There's a savoriness to it.
That's good.
It's good, but I'm getting real hung up on this texture thing because it tastes like one thing, but the shape of it is just throwing me all off. Like I don't know what.
Would you eat it again?
Well,
I mean, depending on what it actually is.
Why does that matter?
I guess it doesn't. If it's good,
If it's
just
good,
eat it,
it's
right?
good, exactly.
If you should, life lesson to learn. If it's good, do it.
Yes.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
That's cute.
Right, Josh?
Thank you, Josh. All right. It's like a calamari salad.
Is that your final? Well, what is your final answer? Because you have a minute 20 seconds. to
Yeah,
figure
minute
this
20
out.
seconds.
It is a calamari salad.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Close, but
Octopus salad.
Oh no! That kind no.
Is
Judges.
very
That's
different.
what it said
That
on
is
the-
very, very
on the
different.
packet.
Calamari is squid. This is not squid. This
Yeah.
is octopus.
You got it. You were stumped, Stu.
It's a
And then-
there's
and
a
it's okay.
difference. You can't say clams and mussels are the same thing because they're not.
That's right.
Judges.
Can I man it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
just
guess
to
so.
show that this
Yeah.
is not disgusting.
It's not. No, it's not disgusting. No, it's not disgusting. I was guessing.
Tell that to Josh.
I had the bigger pieces, and I said, I literally, I can't.
Olive oil's nice.
It's good. It's just until I, texture-wise, or could feel it out, I felt that, and I was like, okay, I know what that is.
Yep.
But clearly I didn't, because I don't know what the difference between octopus and calamari. Okay.
Yes.
Well, calamari and octopi are very different.
Yes. Calamari and
And
squid is the same thing. Calamari and octopus is different.
this was good,
Mhm.
just perplexing.
Yes.
And I appreciate you giving me something that is a challenge that I literally broke my brain a little bit. So thank you guys. I don't know who came up with this. It was a good idea. Please, if you would like some, enjoy. It's good. It's just different.
Yeah.
But
They're all eating
we're all
it
about
now.
learning new lessons
Mhm.
and growing and evolving.
Oh.
So for all of us here at Stu Snacks, to all of you back home, bye.
Oh, that was fun.
That was the
Really
first
cute.
episode of Stu Snacks, everybody.
It really shows how important context is with food, right? Like if you can't see it, you can't. I guess you could smell it in the situation, but like it's so much more sensual than just taste.
And so many of us use eyes to eat with. I mean,
Yeah.
we eat with our eyes, as they always say on Top Chef. So
I just love that at the beginning he's going like he was trying to get some of the smell receptors in his mouth.
he thinks he's a lizard sometimes, I think.
Bravo, Stuart.
Yeah, it's
Bravo
such, it's,
to
such,
Paul
it's such a great little show too, showing off Paul and Andrew and Stuart's charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. They're just such a great trio together. So
Well, and I was particularly fond of Andrew's costume. So.
Andrew picked it because he knew you'd be fond of it. No, because he thought everybody would be fond of it. So, but no, it's a great the first episode. I loved it. I was there filming all of them, but I have such little to do with this. It's exciting to help produce the show, but also to not be involved in most of the aspects of it. It's different for me. It's weird, but I'm so proud of them. They put together such a great show, and they were so excited and energized by it. And I can't.
And we've got more of Stu Snacks the show, so we won't show them every single time, but we'll show them as often as we have them.
So I think the really important thing that we need to know, though, is did Joshua try any of the salad?
Joshua tried none of the octopus salad. Joshua
I knew that.
Joshua never tried the octopus salad because Joshua hates food, apparently. That's what everyone says about me. I don't hate food, by the way, everyone. I hate things I don't like. So, and I like such a narrow window of food that I guess people say I hate food. So,
Ice cream, pizza, and hamburgers.
I love strawberries and mango and grapes and oranges and kiwi and apples.
Wow.
And so I'm a
That's a
big
lot of
old
fruit.
Yeah. You like your fruits.
Well, we do too, and we will hopefully also have some other new segments for you. If you like the segments, let us know in the comments below if there's something specific that you want to see. If I noticed Chonka Hedrum was saying maybe we should try some British food. I don't. I think that would be very, very funny. Well, make sure to comment that in the Discord. Over at our private Discord at thecrewniverse.com. When you join our Patreon, you will get access to that. I can't put the link up here because I'm not running the show, but it's thecrewniverse.com. Or if you want to go old school, you can just go to patreon.com/sidekick productions. You don't like fruit and pie?
I hate cooked fruit. I'm sorry, I don't like cooked fruit.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
Does that include jams and jellies?
No, I love jams, but I don't think of jams as cooked. So
Just as long as we're getting the clear definitions, like we need to know.
I don't. For me, jam isn't cooked. Maybe it's because it's cold.
Yeah, it was cooked at one point.
It must be jelly because the jam don't shake.
Yes.
Well, that's what people say about me. Oh, now everyone in the comments is starting to freak out. Yes, I don't like pie, everyone. I don't like pie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't like pie. Guess what? I also don't like rice and eggs. I'm a weirdo.
Wow, I had so many eggs this weekend.
Is that what you call?
No. We had. In fact, I had an omelet this morning at Elmer's in Palm Springs, which is very good.
Exciting.
Yes, Josh. We kind of do a sci-fi show.
I mean, it's more.
We're getting there,
Doctor. But
yeah,
you
we're
never
getting
know.
there.
We have a sci-fi show in the works. We have actually a couple things in the works. So
never know.
Thank you, Chonka Hedron. Yes, there's nothing wrong with having discerning tastes. I completely agree. And I agree with that too. I am. We all are. We're all heroes here. And with that, it takes us to 9 o'clock at night, which in New York time, much different times for everyone else, but New York time, it's 9 o'clock, which means SideKick Power Hour has reached its conclusion.
Well, for me, it's 6 o'clock here in Phoenix, so I'm going to log off. Matthew, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it, and thank you for all the hard work that you put into helping us look our best.
Well, thanks for letting me hang out tonight. It's been a blast.
It's been a pleasure having you here, and it's always
You're welcome back anytime.
And thank you for everything.
Yeah.
All right.
To any fellow Canadians out there, also happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Canadian Thanksgiving! That's right.
Yes, I forgot to say that Matthew is one of our international SideKick production members. So
yeah, he's holding down our Canadian office.
He is, yes. Which we will learn more about
Chonka
Canadian offices as well in Demon Doctor Season 2, which we'll talk about later too. We've got some
big boy project.
Canadian stuff going on there.
Oh,
But anyway,
thank you, Crit. Okay.
Yes, everyone loves you, Nakia.
Oh.
We all love you.
Well, we will be back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Until then, feel free to head over to sidekickproductions.org to check out the supermarket, Sidekick Supermarket, with all the T-shirts and mugs and hats and whatever else we got going on over there.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah, my
Bye.
feelings exactly. Bye.
And that's the tea.